Good evening, everyone. Today we will be presenting our cybersecurity posture assessment of the AIH, and the project evaluates the AIH's existing security environment, reviews its policies and governance structure, and provide technical recommendation allied with ISO 27701 and NIST CSF to strengthen overall cyber resilience. So I am Susan Sresto, student number 235212, and let's go forward. So, to introduce our topic, so AIS is a private institution based in Sydney and Melbourne. So, AIS uses digital platforms that are critical for teaching, student services, and administrative operations. So as we already know that this research is about the AIS cybersecurity posture, review policies and governance, and provide actionable recommendation aligned with ISO 27001 and NIST CSF. So we have figured out some organizational assets, like we list down some subdomains of AIS, that is model.ais.edu.au. That is the main educational tool, and other are listed below. And we also found out some board of directors, and so we also attach the organizational structure of AIS, where the managing director is the main head of the organization. So he has the chief operating officer and chief marketing officer and chief financial officer and chief growth operational officer below the managing director. And it has some few other levels as well. So moving forward to the next slide. So what we do is do some risks and vulnerability scan in this research, and we identify some asset identification, and we categorize the identification on the table, and we found some hardware infrastructure asset as well. So these are all the assumed assets, and there are a few server in user computers, networking devices, storage system, and peripheral devices and current infrastructure, as well as IoT and facility devices on the hardware infrastructure assets. So moving on to the next slide. So we done some Nmap and WP scan, Nmap and WP scan tools for vulnerability scans. So we take some few subdomains of AIS to check the vulnerability scans, and when we check model.ais.edu.au using the Nmap tool, we found that it uses the Apache 2.4.50 service, and it has the ATN 443 port opened, and the key finding is the outdated Apache version. And similarly, we scan the other subdomain as well using the WP scan and Nmap, and found some key findings which is listed below. So we use the Nmap, and these are some of the screenshot of the Nmap tool. So um, for the risks and vulnerability scanning, we found out some critical vulnerabilities, and listed down that critical vulnerability with CVE score and CVE and CVSS scores and descriptions. So what we mainly found out in the model.as.edu.au is that it has the 7.5 CVSS score. So SSRF vulnerability via proxy. So model.ais.eu also have this 7.5 uh, score in OpenSSL service. And in MySQL, it has the CVSS score of 8. Similarly, we find the evaluation of existing controls. So we figure out the firewall, SSL, and TSL scripts on endpoint security and multi-factor authentication implementation and incident response plan. So we found out that the multi-factor authentication and incident response plan is very high risk, and SSL and TSL impression in point security are medium to high, and firewall is accepted. So what we recommend is that we found some technical recommendation for AIS, that is to upgrade the Apache server to version 2.4.57 to higher, and use the multi-factor authentication to all the logging portals, and it can disable the TSL 101 or 101 ADN and enforce TSL 102 plus for secure protocols, and implement a web application penetration test biannually, and deploy centralized monitoring tools. Easy example, SIEM like Splunk, SP Splunk, and develop and implement the formal incident response procedure. And also we make risk matrix. So this is the table of risk matrix, and uh, and some threat scenarios are the web application exploit, database exfiltration, and DDoS attacks, and phishing emails. So risks are like DDoS attacks and phishing emails are like high, and other are kind of a medium, and um, web app exploit and database exploitation are critical. So, so these are the risk matrix factors. So, for the policies and governments, I would like to ask my friend to cover this up. Thank you so much for my part. Thank you. Bye.
So AIH policies and governance, from the analysis of the cyber policies, AIH focus more on the general ICT use rather than the cybersecurity side. Uh, but the privacy policies have met the Australian privacy principle. However, there's no detailed about the information security policy or cyber incident response plan found publicly. And here is the chart for the governance, AIH governance that aligns with the NIST framework. NIST CSF have five functions, which is identify, protect, detect, response, and recover. So the AIH has provided evidence of the governance charter and policies framework that explains the roles and the approval processes. So the status is strong because it gives clear responsibilities and structure. In Protect, AIH have ICT policy and privacy policy that shows access control and data protection rules. However, the status is not strong. The status is only partial because there's no detailed on the technical standards. In the detect function, AIH shows no public documents on monitoring or detection systems, so we assumes that they have no evidence of the ongoing security and monitoring. Response function, AIH have business continuity plan that covers disruption. However, no cyber incidents. So the status will be partial because response process not specific to cybersecurity. In recover function, AIH have continuity and equality framework supports general recovery. So the status will be moderate because it needs more specific on cyber recovery process. So we found the identified gaps in it, which is there's five of it, which is no policy dedicated for cybersecurity purposes, no regular reports about the cyber risk and incident, No, policies are updated every 3 years, which is too long. They're supposed to do it every years. And AIH doesn't seem to measure things like incidence frequency or response times. And there's no formal security training on cybersecurity awareness session for the staff and students. So here's what the recommendation that we come out with. In policies development area, what AIH can do is write a clear information security policy and cyber incidents response plan based on ISO 27001 and NIST CSF. It will help to create an accountability and defines what to do in a cyber event. In the governance oversight area, AIH should add a small cybersecurity committee under the audit and risk committee to check report quarterly. It will help them to keep a senior management aware of a security posture. In training and awareness area, AIH should make an annual cybersecurity training that is mandatory for staff and students. It will help to reduce a human error and support policy compliance. Policy review cycle area, they should update cybersecurity related policy every year instead of every 3 years. It helps them to keep defenses up to date with new threats. And lastly is the metrics and reporting area. They should track incidents, vulnerabilities, and time to respond. Then report it to the board of directors. It will help to encourage continuous improvement and transparency. Here is the chart of the AIH alignment with the NIST CSF. Identify got 4 points because it has clear governance documents in the governance charter and the policy framework. It's good. It has a good structure, but lack a bit of detailed list of digital assets and risk register. In protect function, it got 3 score because in the ICT and privacy policy cover basic data protections only. It should be more technical, like encryptions rules, multi-factor authentication policies as well. In detect functions, there's no specific monitoring or alert policy found, so it got only 1 score. It needs SIEM or like something like log management or basic audit process. Response function, it got 2 score uh, because it has business continuity plan but no cyber incident plan. So they should add more roles and steps of handling attacks in recovery function. Got 2 marks as well because the quality assurance framework only supports post incidents review. It should add more cyber recovery testing and annual lesson learned. Here is the chart. And here is the AIH NIST function maturity. Identify got 4 score, which is mature enough, and protect only got 3. Detect only got 1 because there's no document found in the no in detect. only got 1 marks because there's no history of the incident report, and response and recovery got 2 marks. Here is the action plan to bridge the gaps. So, the focus of area is in policy update. It's to What they can do is to write an information security policy and cyber incident response plan. It will take 0 to 3 months, and the expected outcome is they have a clear roles and incident process. Monitoring and detection, they should add a basic SIEM or log review system, and also train the IT staff to use it. It will take 3 to 6 months. The expected outcomes will be faster in threat detection and response. In board oversights area, they should create a cybersecurity subcommittee under the audit and risk committee. It will take 3 months set up, and plus a quarterly meetings that keeps going on. The expected outcome, it will make a better reporting and accountability. Training program, they should launch a yearly cyber awareness and phishing test, some kind of like a penetration test. It will take like 6 to 9 months. It will lower a human error risk. In the policy review cycle, they should review the cyber policies every year instead of every 3 years. And for the timeline, it will keep going on. It will keep rules updated with new threats. And for the recovery testing, it will add they need to add a backup restore, test, and tabletop exercises to QA schedule. It will take 9 to 12 months. It will prove system can recover after incidents. This is like the budget plan for the recommendation. The short term. What? So the total estimation will be around 44,000 to 74,000.
Hi everyone, this is Upasna, and I'll continue from the cybersecurity improvement plan. In terms of the overview, this is the roadmap to enhance AIH technical defenses, governance, and resilience. Based on the vulnerabilities and policy gaps from earlier tasks my group members have already explained, we have used phased approach for this plan, which will help AIH stabilize, strengthen, and sustain the cybersecurity. Let's talk about technical security enhancement plan. So the first thing we would like AIH to work on is system updates and patch management, as couple of patches are outdated systems like Apache, OpenASSL, and Moodle. The next one is access control and authentication strengthening, in which we can implement MFA, which is multi factor authentication, and role based access control. Another one is network and web application security. This will strengthen the transport layer security, TLS, deploy web application firewall, and conduct the pen testing. Another one is monitoring and incident detection. This will deploy security information and event management platform like Splunk, Azure Sentinel for threat monitoring. And the last one we have got is backup recovery and business continuity. This will redesign the backup and recovery using cyber recovery framework. Now let's talk about the governance and policy development plan. So the first is establish dedicated cybersecurity policies. This will clarify the accountability and define consistent security expectation organization wide. Another plan is to create a cybersecurity oversight committee to strengthen the executive oversight and embed cybersecurity into corporate governance. The third one is to develop security metrics and reporting mechanism. This will provide leadership visibility and supports data driven improvement. The fourth one is shorten policy review cycles. Why this is important? Because keeping defenses responsive to evolving threat landscapes. The last one is to implement continuous awareness and training programs. This will help reduce human related errors and fosters a culture of security. Based on the security plans that we have discussed earlier, we have prioritized them based on risks. So as you can see, the red ones are on high priority, and that's why we have put in them in the short-term plan, which is 0 to 3 months. So the recommended actions that we have suggested is applying the critical patches, enforcing the MFA, disable the obsolete TLS versions, draft information security policies, initiate awareness sessions, and this will address the high severity vulnerabilities and immediate access control weaknesses. Let's go to the medium term, which is 3 to 9 months, which are in amber color, where we would like to deploy SIEM and centralized monitoring, implement WAF, launch regular penetration testing, form cybersecurity committee, and institutionalize training program. How this will help AIH? So this will enhance the detection, governance, and incident response capabilities. And the last one is long term, which is in green, which can be worked on in 9 to 18 months, as these are not that critical than the short term and medium terms. In long term, we would like to recommend actions like developing the mature CIRP, build cyber risk dashboard for leadership, improve the backup and recovery, align operations with ISO 27001 NXA, and conduct annual cybersecurity audits. This will promote long term resilience and alignment with international standards. So, the Cybersecurity Improvement Plan provides a realistic risk based roadmap to strengthen AIH overall resilience. Through the combination of technical uplift, governance reform, and awareness programs, AIH will move forward to ISO aligned proactive cybersecurity framework if they take into considerations the plans that we have suggested for them. Thank you.